On this Thirsty Thursday, we welcome another Fear Club member who is nothing short of a multifaceted entrepreneur. He and his wife own many haunted objects, produce their own paranormal investigative YouTube channel, and have been blowing up on TikTok. We welcome Dennis Hagan to Spooky Happy Hour.
Welcome. But before we get into today's video, just a quick thank you to all of our followers and new followers and listeners. And just a reminder to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Also, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single spooky moment. And of course, the big question of the night is, we see you saw a drink, but what are you drinking?
Oh, Diet Coke. Diet Coke, that's it.
No rum.
No.
There's no wrong way to go in whatever you are drinking with us. As long as you come hydrated and prepared, we are ready for you.
Yeah.
Again, more folks coming into our lives because of the Fear Club. So we do like to talk a little bit about what really brought us together, and that's Destination Fear or Project Fear. So when did you start watching Destination Fear, or, did you come along during the newest Project Fear era?
Well, so again, I learned of Dakota on Ghost Adventures. Again, and then I found out that he was breaking off, and I seen that he was breaking off and doing his own stuff. And I really thought that was really cool of him to do that. So I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to give this a watch, see what it's like, see what kind of you may want to get a chair. See what kind of content he's going to put out. See, I did not see his documentary. Okay, so again, I heard of Dakota. I came across Dakota and Ghost Adventures like everyone else, but there are people that followed him since the beginning of his YouTube era and short films.
Whoa.
For those of you who are listening and not watching, Dennis's lovely wife Maggie came in, and she came in a rockin' and rollin'. So if you heard that, she is okay and well and good, but she is here with us now.
Yes, no haunted objects are being thrown around.
So once he introduced once I saw the trailer to Destination Fear, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a watch, see what it's like, what it is, what the content is, and and I was like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of the concept of, facing fear, I think, did you watch Destination Fear when it first came out with me, or was it towards?
I don't think I ever watched it. If I did, it was like briefly, but
yeah. She may have I think you started watching it more towards the end when it was coming to like a second, third season. She didn't watch it in the first, but yeah. And then I moved over to Project Fear, and so.
Nice. So have you been to any of the locations that the crew has investigated at? And if so, did you have any similar experiences compared to them?
I've been to OSR. Didn't really have an experience there. Waverly Hills I did. I actually I was doing
there twice.
Yeah, I've been there twice. First time I went alone, it was a public investigation, and I was up in 502, and I heard a female disembodied voice for the first time. And that's actually on our YouTube, and you can hear me. I was like, and I'm out of here. Went out the room, shot down the hall, through the children's ward to the roof, and the two females were just like, almost two girls, and they were just like, oh my God. I was like, did you not hear that, man?
Especially for the first time too.
Yeah. Right? I think it's my first time actually hearing a disembodied voice for the first time. The second time, honestly, I was hoping Maggie would have an experience, but we didn't really have an experience, really. I took two of my really good friends, Adam and Gio, with me. I wanted them to experience Waverly Hills. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Where else did they go?
The Hinsdale.
Oh yeah, the Hinsdale House. We were there. Okay, so the Hinsdale House, I'm not going to touch really the controversy on that because I'm not not the place for it. But
fair enough.
We have been there.
We have been there. I slept upstairs. None of my crap went off. I didn't get I'm going to say I never got possessed or didn't experience anything demonic there. But
you were affected, but
I was affected in the beginning. I was actually sitting in a chair that was sitting straight against the wall facing the doorway. The tour person or the person that was there telling the history, all of a sudden, I just didn't feel right. And when she got done, I told her, I said, I feel like I just want to come up and just hit you. Like, I just felt like I wanted to hit her. Like, I just had the urge to just hit her. And I went outside and, calmed down eventually. And,
Has that ever happened to you like previously to that time? Or was that like your first experience kind of getting that wave of aggression?
No, that's not the first time.
That's not the first time.
He gets it from Helen.
Yeah, I get it from our one demonic doll that sits over here to Maggie's right, that sits in a glass case.
Oh yeah, we have lots of questions about her. So, so not your first go around though, with like feeling that type of aggression at the Hinsdale house.
No. When it comes to the Hinsdale house, that was like my first. That's actually my first time aggression, actually, in any kind of location, because
in a location, yes.
Yeah,
but
because
not
I never.
First time.
Yeah, but not my first time. But
did you do anything like on like the property, like in the forest or anything around the house, like anything?
Definitely creepy, but no, we didn't feel it.
No, we saw more bugs flying around, and
nah, fair enough.
It was end of July when we went. So
yeah,
Mosquito City.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna release an episode on YouTube about it because I have all the footage. It's hard when you're a one-man editor and you got all this stuff you got to edit, and it just takes time. But I'm eventually going to release the whole Hinsdale thing. And
well, I'm sure that you have like so much content that you can like pick and choose from whenever you really want to.
Yeah.
Is there any type of favorite episode that y'all have of either Destination Fear or Project Fear, or like a place that you really want to go that they maybe have been to?
Not really. I mean, I think all their episodes are good, to be honest. I just think when they did the haunted house series type thing, I think that's kind of when their popularity went from here to down here, and then the Conjuring house didn't help. That did not help them at any type of I don't know where that thumb probably came from me.
Yeah, there's like little gestures on StreamYard that if you like put your hand in a certain area, they'll just like come up and do that. So
or fireworks happen randomly. If
right?
You say a word.
Balloons come out,
Yeah, there's some weird stuff. We just roll with it.
But yeah. So I think the Conjuring house kind of didn't do them no justice because everyone was just at them about that, and I feel bad about that. I get
what they were trying to do though, because I think they're trying to like branch off and do something different, and I know Dakota was just like he was testing it a bit and wanted to try something different, but now there's like so much controversy going on that we won't get into.
I
would like to purchase the house myself, but I don't have the money. And then rehire everybody like in such a real world.
Like drama going on in like the paranormal community at large, and like I don't think that we really knew just how much like that would be, like when you get more and more into it, or where you're talking to people a little bit more, but in the game a little bit longer than we have, because we're fresh little newbies, and just kind of like seeing all of that unfold is a lot. So we're when we think about like Destination Fear and Project Fear and the places that they've been, they carry a lot of other stories than we've seen on TV.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I'm not going to get into the controversy because I respect you ladies, and I'm not going to bring all that drama. But like there's actually, and I'll say there's actually a YouTube team out there right now that's actually clout chasing Project Fear, but I'm not going to say any more. That is annoying.
There's always somebody.
Yeah, I mean literally clout chasing them. Literally.
Yeah.
And everything in. If you actually, and I can tell you guys off this, and show you, back it up what I'm trying to say, but their steps are exactly like theirs. What they do, they follow. What they do, they follow. It's no joke.
Yeah, it's really nice to have like kind of like an
stalkerish.
example, like an example of like,
Yeah.
oh, we really like this, and like let's take some type of like different things and put our own spin on it. But at the same time, we like, I'm sure people need their own distinct style, and sometimes when they don't get it, they can definitely be really similar to other people that we watch.
Yeah, and that's, again, and that's where, I tell everyone, like, I do my own content. I come up with my own ideas. I don't try to go off other people's. I, try to come up with my own. I investigate locations that have never been investigated or only been investigated a couple times, and they're not well known, because eventually people get sick of seeing the same locations over and over and over. And it's like, okay, everyone's investigated Waverly Hills. Everyone's investigated OSR. Everyone's investigated this place. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just
and that's what, I don't know if you watch Twin Paranormal at all, but I've noticed that recently those guys are going to like a place called like the Garner House, or like these random ass houses I've never heard of. There is like a little bit of like controversy about the last one they did. Just about the owner being a scammer. But I think that's the risk you take when you're going into a haunted location. The place might be haunted, but who knows who the heck is running it? AKA, look at the Conjuring house right now.
Yeah.
So, like, you never know. But I find, like, the history part very interesting as well.
Yeah,
But,
I own toys from the Conjuring house. It's actually on my wall. Right there on my wall. Yeah.
Maybe we should ask someone to come through and be like, give us the deets.
Right? Spill the tea right now.
Spill the tea. Should I try to get $2 million and buy the house? No. I wish.
Right.
But we had the pleasure of meeting you guys at Pennhurst. So we all were at Paracon, where you guys had a booth with your objects as well. I was really interested in what you had at the table. You were right next to Project Fear, which we were surprised about.
So were we.
So were
they.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
so cool, though.
And I am the very first VIP of the month.
Yeah,
That's right. We're in the presence of royalty over here.
Yes.
I see.
Here numbers. I think we're slacking on that, though. Did they pick?
I don't know if they picked the next, like the most recent one. I don't remember.
I've given up.
But
I've given up hope.
The part is, when they picked me, they did it live. And here's the thing. Me and my wife, were we out doing something? We got home, and Tiffany messaged me on Facebook and was like, Dennis, congratulations. I was like, what?
Thanks.
I thought she was joking. I'm not joking. I even told my wife, I was like, dude, she's joking. Yeah. And I go to watch the video, and I show Maggie, and no crap, Dakota picked my name, and Tanner was like, wow. Like, Alex was like, dang.
Well, and for those of us who are listening or watching who don't know, in the Fear Club, Project Fear picks a random member every month since they started this, and they showcase them as the VIP of the month, not only on the Fear Club, but they also take their picture and they post it in there. They put it up in a wall in their house too. So they have a whole kind of like, like Fear fam wall.
So when they're going up the stairs to their bedrooms, there you are.
Right. So Dennis, our guest tonight, has started off as the #1 VIP of the month.
Oh yeah, it's funny because there was a couple times where remember Dakota would show a video and he was walking with the sandwich and he goes, there's Dennis. He's like, there's that handsome guy.
Now they're just too busy for us to even do that anymore. Like, good for them though to keep busy. But what was it like to be a vendor at Pennhurst? And was that your first time vending there?
It was actually our second time.
Okay.
And we actually learned from a few mistakes the first time. So the first time we had storms coming.
Oh, geez.
And the next day we went to go set up, and and the wind kicked up and literally almost took our tent clearly across the freaking.
It took our tent. It didn't go too far, but
we both grabbed it, but we got it back. But we learned the first time get weights, so that was our first mistake. We have weights now, but the thing is with Pennhurst, and I got, no issues with them. They're really cool and stuff like that. And I just, with some, with some Paracons, if you vendor, then you get a part of the whole VIP experience and everything because you pay so much money,
Mhm.
And with us, we didn't get nothing. We
Yeah,
didn't
you
get
don't
we
get
didn't get to
anything.
go to the VIP stuff. We didn't get to go to any of that stuff.
Oh, like not even like the RIP dinner.
No,
No,
nothing,
Oh.
nothing.
Mm.
And
Even to like get like a discount on it or something.
yeah,
Yeah, that would have been nice. We even chatted about this too, like compared to last year. We heard last year was a little bit of a mess up. I'm trying to say it nicely. But this year seemed
That from last year was just that Project Fear. They had so much.
Oh yeah, so much
Just because
people
so many people that they weren't expecting,
anticipating so much people
because
where they
of
put
the start
them.
of Project Fear
Oh.
and the what was it called? The not GoFundMe.
Yeah,
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter.
The Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Because of that, they just were so popular than what that was anticipated.
Oh, that would have been around the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Oh,
And Connor
okay.
was with them
Connor.
last year because
He got sunburned.
yeah, he got sunburned. But Connor was with them because they were just coming off from filming
Mhm.
the episode
Right.
the night before, and Connor was with them.
The Penhurst episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
Mhm.
Paranormal Files. So
Oh yeah.
so the reason why Connor was with them this year is because Connor don't go with them unless if he's traveling with them for them to travel with them to film. So
Mhm.
Connor, also it was his birthday.
It was his wife's birthday.
Sorry, it was Riley's birthday. So Connor was at home with his wife, which God bless him, and be
Well,
there.
Dakota told us he was working.
Right,
And then
he's like,
he
"Oh, he's at
giggled."
home working.
And for the record, Connor is actually a Toledo, Sylvania native.
Yeah, he's from Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
he's from where we are. And last year when we went to talk to Connor was like, I'm happy to see someone in the field from Toledo.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was the first time we met him.
Yeah, first time we met him.
Yeah.
And
nice.
yeah,
That's awesome. They're all so sweet and
they are,
super like inviting and welcoming. Maggie, did you how did you and Dennis meet? Like, were you into the occult like type stuff before meeting him, or have you known each other for a long
We've
time?
been married for
going on 13 years.
13 years next
Oh
week.
wow. Lucky
Paranormal
Right?
School.
Yeah, that was before Paranormal was cool. Like we met in 2008 on MySpace.
MySpace.
Wow.
Like our young generation might not know what that is.
Right.
It's before Facebook.
Right.
It was way cooler, and you could have a top 8 friend, and you could actually put a song on your profile. So
And all of us knew how to code things then to make our stuff look really cool. And all of us had a lot of balls to be able to put on our top 8 or top 5 or top whatever. So we just publicly criticized all of our friends and put them in order of liking for quite some time.
And then you get the one friend mad at you, like, why ain't I in your top 8 or top 10 or top 5 or whatever?
So did Maggie was Maggie always number 1 in your top 5 or whatever? Or
I think so, but at that time we were like off and on like 3 times before we really stayed together. We were off and on.
You guys are both from Ohio?
Yeah. She's from Berkey, which is outside of Sylvania, and I was, and I'm from Toledo.
So were you okay, you said you got together before like the paranormal was cool. So did you were one of you into the paranormal beforehand, or you guys kind of like bonded over that, or?
Well, no.
No. And here's a funny story how we got in, or how I started getting into it was in 2017. I actually we lived in an apartment complex, and we had a couple people that lived across from us that we were friends with, which was
that couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ghost Adventures was on Netflix because they had Netflix, and I went over there and I was watching it with them. And it was actually the USS Hornet episode, which for the record, I do want to investigate because I really think that ship's really cool. So, and then I think I watched a couple more episodes and I was like, you know what? I'm going to book a public investigation here in Toledo, which we have locations here in Toledo, Collingwood Arts Center, Toledo Yacht Club.
They're pretty well known.
Yeah, are pretty well known. So I went to the yacht club, public investigation, and I investigated and came back with some evidence. And ever since then, I've been hooked. Once you get your first piece of EVP or evidence, you're just like, wow, like you want more. You want to explore more. You want to investigate more. You want to find out more. So I down the road, I joined a team, jumped off that team, created my own team, which was TSH, which was Toledo Spirit Hunters. So I went through, again, every team goes through members. I went through mine. I've also beefed with people here in Toledo, other teams, which got personal, which Bree knows a little more about that behind the scenes because I talked to her about it. And then down the road, for the record, they thought that they could chase me out, and they didn't. I'm still here. I'm still doing my thing, and I'm still creating. I'm probably doing more than them, 10 times more than them, just for the record. We are the only paranormal people, seriously, in Toledo that owns over 100 haunted objects in their basement of their house. There is no one else I know in Toledo that does, except us. The Toledo Blade did kind of joke around and called us the next Ed and Lorraine Warrens.
It was a joke.
It was a joke, but
People think that.
Yeah. Some people took it literally, and we're just like, dude, calm down, breathe.
No.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So,
you can't talk to the dead or anything, like
No.
literally.
No. So
You heard it here first, folks.
Right?
It's not true.
no. And then Maggie jumped in eventually down the road.
Mhm.
So then when Maggie jumped in, we actually, when did we really start forming our production company? I say in like 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2019. And then we sealed it and actually got an LLC. So we turned it to a legitimate production company within real tax identification, all that. The whole works. We even got Ohio certificate, everything. So then after that, that's when, Maggie jumped in around that time too. We investigated a lot of things. We came up with some really cool paranormal projects, like the Purple Gang documentary that we released in 2022. Yes, 2022, where we investigated 3 locations that the Purple Gang used. And then we're actually going to be releasing part 2 here in October in the same theater that we played the first one in. And then we released our first paranormal series that was Spirits Awaken. And then we kind of discontinued that series and went to Awaken the Unknown. So
yeah, I mean, there's been so many different, like, I feel like chapters in your investigative life together, right?
Right.
So
yeah. So our first season of our Awaken the Unknown actually got 2021 Best of Toledo runner-up locally produced video.
Nice.
So, but
yeah, you guys enter so much stuff. I feel like there's like so many different avenues that you all are on to at any given point in time. And in the realm of the paranormal, we'll kind of start there first. Dennis, I was watching some of the other things that you had been involved with too, and you had said before that, like, in order to be a paranormal investigator, like, you have to believe in, like, God and the devil. So I'm wondering, like, why might you think this, and what would you say to other investigators who don't necessarily believe that?
The thing is everyone has their own belief, okay? Their own belief. If some people take their religion that they believe that every spirit is a demon, it's gonna ruffle feathers because some people don't believe that. Not every spirit is a demon. Not every negative entity is a demon. You have to realize that some of the negative energy that you find, like, at locations, if they don't want to, like, they're going to be what they were in human form. If they were mean and nasty, they're going to be mean and nasty to you. Doesn't mean they're a demon. It just means they're just completely mean. There are spirits that will come out and say that they're evil or they're demonic or whatnot. And you have to understand that they do that because they want to scare you so you'll go away and they just don't want to talk or be bothered. And people have to realize this. Again, yes, you do. In my philosophy, you do have to believe in God and, heaven and hell, God and the devil, like I said, we do have negative items in our collection. There's actually some that are above my head right now, or above Maggie's head that we have. So those 2 items are in cases are negative.
Maggie, do you believe this too? Like, because I know you investigate, you guys investigate together. So do you believe the same thing? And if not, like, how do these similarities or differences in what you believe impact you guys as like an investigative duo?
No, I do believe the same as he does. It just makes sense. I mean, if somebody, was a certain way in life and in death, why would they be any different? They don't know anything different.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, the thing is Maggie's Catholic. She was born and raised Catholic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Catholic religion, they believe the Catholic religion is basically the exorcism religion. They're the ones who do exorcisms. But to do exorcisms or to order up one or give the okay, it has to go through a chain of command. But to go through that chain of command, those people that are higher up in the Catholic diocese are like, we need to see more proof. So they don't jump the gun and say, yup, do an exorcism. They want to see proof of a demonic case. They want to see scratches. They want to see actual scratches, actual things being turned upside down, things that would refer to a demonic type case.
Because they also want to like rule out mental illness as well.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's usually the first thing I've noticed. And then for all of us who have
medical
watched
conditions too.
Yeah, like sometimes you have to rule that out and then they look into like the exorcism.
Are you not feeling that?
What are you feeling?
I'm like, I just got like a surge of freaking charge of energy around me.
Well, we also are talking about exorcisms, and they're probably like,
there's a lot of
exorcism kit up here with stuff from the Exorcist.
Yeah,
so there's that.
That's probably why.
I actually have soil from the house of that took place of the exorcism. There's one already up there.
Is there? Is
it
on?
Yeah.
It's not dead?
Yeah, it's on.
Cat ball. We have a cat ball out, people who can't see.
Yes, and if anybody like is not watching and they're listening, both Dennis and Maggie are in there. Are you still keeping everything in your basement?
Yeah.
Yes.
They are in the basement, and the last time that I checked, you guys had like at least like over 100 artifacts or something. So that's where they're sitting right now, is like in this basement with all of these artifacts sitting around them. And here we are talking about exorcisms and Catholic religion and like when priests come in to do exorcists, and now Dennis is feeling a little bit of energy from these objects around him.
Yeah, it makes sense as there's an exorcist kit right there.
Yeah.
We got that from
the Booth Brothers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's an actual exorcism kit. Yep, it's got it's got the wax, the honey wax candles. It's got everything, the crosses, everything. So it's been used it's been used in some exorcisms too. So
it's been used in some.
Yep.
That makes it even more interesting.
Right.
So you both recently went on an investigation to West Virginia and brought another Fear Club member with you. And she might be listening, but we know and love Tiffany. She was with you guys. Where did you go and how was the investigation? We did see a little snippet. We did hear a loud scream.
Which we laughed very much at, of both of you. It was like a little blooper, if you will, but also funny and creepy all at the same time.
Yeah, I was at my desk when listening to that, and the girl next to me could hear it. She was like, "Whoa, what are you listening to?" And I was like, "Just two girls screaming." No big deal.
I'll let Maggie talk about that part. Go ahead. You explain that whole situation. I was upstairs laughing.
Well, we were upstairs in one of the bedrooms, and
Where were you at? Again, tell our listeners.
Oh, we were in West Virginia. What was the city?
Is it
Hinton,
West Virginia. And we were investigating a museum
society.
Yeah.
So it's a house, like a lot of the area has to do with like early railroad.
Yeah, it's got a lot of history of the slavery and all that.
Yep.
So
kind of like colonial ties.
Yeah. Like Civil War era times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we were upstairs in one of the bedrooms, and we felt some knocking. Like
we heard knocking.
We heard knocking, but we could feel it, like the house moving, like seriously. So, and we're like, okay, me and Tiffany, we went downstairs to go see, debunk it and see what it was. We thought it could have been paranormal, because we did get other things that were similar. And we got down to the living room, and we're walking, and like, no. And then we walked back to the stairs, and down at the bottom of the stairs, there's another door to go outside to a staircase balcony. And we're standing right there next to the door, and a guy knocks on the door.
And that's when she screamed.
And that's when we screamed. And then she screamed because I screamed.
Yeah.
You move your cars.
Oh my.
You're like, do you not know what we're doing in here? Like, this is not okay.
He even said, "Oh, sorry, I scared you too." He knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
He knew why we were there.
And upstairs, we were running a spirit box, and I was actually getting responses, and they, and then
you got some
I was asking it.
Someone here.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the neighbor telling us to move our car.
Or someone was moving around down there, and I got a yes. And I told them, and I said, I got a yes. I just heard a yes. And Tiffany's like, yeah, we just got dead or something over. What'd you get over dead over the Ghost Tube or over the PS device?
One of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. And then all of a sudden you hear us, and then Maggie starts screaming. I was like, I literally, at first I was like, what is, at first I was laughing after, because I was like, when she screamed, I was like, did they see like a shadow or an apparition or something? But no, she was like, no, someone knocked on the door, needs to move the car. And then I was like, oh, okay, now it's funny.
That's the thing about ghost hunting. I always find people are the ones that scare you the most, not the ghosts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because it's like, yeah.
It was a funny moment. That's why I posted it as a reel, because it was a funny moment.
It was pretty funny.
And I had to put it in the Fear Club. I was like, man, you guys will love this.
Yeah.
We also in there we found a it was a piggy bank, but it was a duck.
Oh yeah, they found it
was plastic. It wasn't rubber. It was old. So, but it was a duck, and it was a piggy bank.
Yeah, right in line with the Fear Club theme.
Me and Tiffany had to take a picture of that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a good investigation. We're actually going to go to Pennsylvania actually this coming week. This coming weekend we're going to go to Pennsylvania. So
nice.
Awesome. Where are you going in Pennsylvania?
I'm actually going where I actually sent it to you.
Oh,
Bree.
the Mercer.
Yeah,
the
to
Mercer.
see if you were close, so you could join us.
Yeah, if you guys come in a
6 hours
couple
away, so
I was gonna say, if you come in a little bit closer, I can. Like this weekend, I go out to Ohio to go to Madison Seminary, and it's like 3 hours, 45 minutes. Like I just find that if anything is like pushing like 4 hours or more, it usually makes the weekend more of like an weekend ordeal rather than like a day ordeal. It makes like a whole weekend ordeal. So I try to get as much maximized time as I can at the location with minimal travel. So if you guys ever come in that radius, you hit me up.
Yeah. We're going to go to Madison in September to see Dakota and them. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go. I think at that point in time too, if things get released, hopefully sometime soon, and
If it happens.
we'll get our tickets and rock and roll. It's like I have that like. I have the day off beforehand. I'm like prepared. I'm like ready to rock and roll. Now I just have to like wait for it to get put out there and buy our tickets and get good to go.
I can't believe there's like nothing set though. Like I bought my tickets for Penhurst in November last year, and like I couldn't imagine like 2 months. Like I'd be like, is it happening?
Yeah, well,
Like,
Adam, like he has like Indiana State Sanatorium, then he has
Right.
Fairfield, and then Madison, and he had told me like, oh, we're gonna like wait and drop those ticket dates like in succession, so that if like there's somebody that's nearby that wants to go to all three, they don't have to like put all their money into like one versus the other. And they had some sort of like construction type issues. I think it was like Fairfield just got like a new roof, or so he's been working really hard, and like I totally understand that and I get that. And at the same time, I'm like, release this stuff. Like I am ready to go. Give me the details.
Yeah. It should be getting close though, because it's coming to the end of July, beginning of August, so it should be coming close here. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
does
so I'll
he
definitely
want
see you guys
like
there.
I'll work for him. I'll help. I need a work visa. I'll just move to the States and help him out. So you guys
Right?
can
So say I'll pitch that to Adam whenever we get there. It's like, hey, my
Done.
friend Becca wants to come to the States, and you gotta sponsor her on a visa. She'll come help
the
you.
only way I
Do
can
whatever
it.
you need.
There you go.
Just sending out offers.
Right.
There you go. That's how you get in the United States.
Right? It's a little easier for us Canadians, but sadly I can't just like jump the border and be like, hey, can I buy a house? But I don't know, you guys got your own problems too, and I got my own problems up here. So
That's right.
I'm in the Texas of Canada, so
Yeah.
all the west out here.
Yeah, the United States has their own issues. For sure.
Sometimes I find it doesn't matter where you go, there's something.
Yep.
But so because of your beliefs, you have to protect yourself not only when you guys are investigating, but also when you're at home, because you have all of those 100 haunted artifacts in your house. So in order to keep the entities bound to its object, you put a cross around the necks of the artifacts that are blessed by an exorcist.
They're blessed by a
The negative one.
The negative ones are blessed by it. They have crosses around them. They're blessed by a priest. Yes.
Has this ever failed in any situation?
Nope, because I got 2 holy relics that are on the door that are also blessed. Plus, on top of that, I've actually set ground rules that they have to stay down here, and I can verify that because one of my friends who is a medium but don't practice mediumship now, she was doing a reading, and we have one of the rocking horses that has a 6-year-old boy that was disabled attached outside of the door, and as she was doing a reading, she saw him behind me. And she was telling me that the little boy wanted to go up and play with my boys. and that little boy communicated to the medium saying that I told them that they had to stay down here. She never knew any of that.
Wow. So it's like their whatever like rules that you put in place, like they know it and they were able to like also follow that.
Yeah.
Another time we were investigating live on TikTok, and one of our other medium friends was on as well, and you were feeling affected, yes, and then all of a sudden she felt just like a positive presence.
Yeah, from our Bibles.
No, I wasn't necessarily from the Bibles.
Oh, I thought she said it was from the Bible.
I don't think it necessarily was.
But anyway, felt the positive energy in the room was trying to get the negative energy out.
Yeah.
So,
is this one of the same like medium friends that kind of like taught you how to like cleanse different things and kind of like, set the catalyst for like owning a collection like yours?
Not really.
Not really. This was.
I mean, she does help us out.
She does help us out. I mean, she's actually filmed with us and been in She's actually going to be in our second part of our documentary of the Purple Gang.
Oh,
And
nice.
she's going to be in a couple episodes that we filmed already that I got to, edit and release. But no, she's actually seen stuff happen in this room when she was live. Like she saw a black mass move from our 1861 high chair, go from the high chair to one of the dolls on the shelf. And she called it out, and you can hear, and I know people are skeptic about the necrophonic app, but I'm actually not. I'm actually can clarify that we've caught some really good evidence from it, because when she saw that, she called it out. You could hear a low, dark voice over the necrophonic that said, "She caught me."
Ugh.
So, what else? Oh, and
Well,
on
so
top of that,
the
I
thing
went to
is-
open Helen's case one time, and when I opened Helen's case, prior to that, Helen was trying to threaten me, and I threatened it back. But when I opened up its case, that negative energy shot right at me, and it was causing me to have visions of ramming my wife's head into the door multiple times. But as I was getting those visions, you could hear the positive energy coming over to the necrophonic app. Clear as day was saying, "Shut the door, shut the door, shut the door, shut the door." I mean, it just kept repeating, "Shut the door," because the positive energy in this room
is so much greater than the negative items.
But they know what's going on.
Yeah,
they know what's going on. They know what Helen is. They know what Helen can do. They know what.
Well, it sounds like you've set it up that way too. It's like you've
Yeah.
mentioned before that, like when you show fear to these objects, like we give them more power, and that's the whole premise around Dakota's theory that influence destination fears, that fear amplifies everything paranormal. So what item in your collection is the most powerful or fearful, even if you don't necessarily give it that power? Would it be like Helen, the encased doll that's reported to have some demonic attachment to it, or would it be Corinne, or what would be the most
Corinne is
positive.
Yeah,
she's not negative.
yeah. Corinne just has like a 12, 13-year-old girl.
She's
attached to it.
mischievous though.
Yeah.
No.
I would say probably the most powerful would say Helen.
Maybe the
maybe
brouhaha.
Yeah, maybe we got a Mexican witch that can be powerful. But the high chair can be powerful. That's got a demonic attachment to it because it has a tray table for a Ouija board. And that's the
Ed Gein stuff.
Oh yeah, Ed Gein himself can be powerful.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
So you have some type of like artifact from like his like property, is that right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. From the house.
I've got his
couple of things.
I've got his pieces of his fence. I've got soil from his farmland property. I have
and for those people that don't know, body snatcher, serial killer, like very well known in
Texas
the
Chainsaw
50s.
was inspired by Ed Gein's antics. So the whole leather face, the whole skin thing, and then yes, Zach Baggins does have the famous cauldron that he used in the garage. Yeah. So yeah, Ed Gein was an interesting guy.
Yeah. Also what inspired Hannibal, Psycho, that all was inspired by him too. But as you
and
can
a season
tell,
of American Horror Story, I think too.
See, but as you can tell,
yeah.
I have the foundation. I have his soil.
We have something from one of
his part of his fence, and I have a piece of wood from the warehouse that he murdered his second victim in.
So how do you all acquire these things? Like, I know we had Steve brought on earlier, and he's like, "Oh, I'm in these Facebook groups that sell like oddities, and I'll just like jump on one of them, and I'll pay this much, and go to another state and grab this." So it's like, what do you like? How do you acquire these items for your collection?
Sort of the same way.
Yeah. There's
especially like the true crime stuff.
Yeah. And how did you get into that? Like instead of like doing like the whole haunted doll and stuff like that, like actually getting an artifact, a piece of the location. Like what intrigued you to start buying that kind of stuff?
Well, if you really think about it, and this is what I've told, a lot of people, because you know, a lot of people have come out and, you know, on social media are like, why would you keep a piece of, you know, John Wayne Casey's house that was demolished? Why would you do that? You know, when he murdered 33 people. It's not that I'm not a true crime junkie. It's the paranormal side that intrigues me. Just like with Zach Bagans, it's the paranormal side that intrigues him. That's why he has Charles Manson stuff. That's why he has Against Cauldron. That's why he has those
Dahmer's glasses, I think.
No, that's in
Jeffrey?
Alcatraz.
Okay.
Alcatraz Museum in
What's the van? What's the serial killer van?
The Kevorkian van.
Yes,
That's what I want to see.
Serial killer.
No, he's assisted suicide.
Assisted suicides, yeah.
Mm.
And there's like a Santa Claus suit. It's a Santa Claus killer or something. I think Zach's got that.
Yeah,
I've never been, but I know what he has.
But like you're saying, that's like, you know, if you do have a lot of these collections and you're not maybe like a true crime junkie, it's to see what connection to the paranormal that they may have.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, like the Bonnie and Clyde stuff. You know, I had Bonnie come through clear as day.
I was gonna say those videos that you had sent me around those like artifacts were really cool.
Yeah, I've
the
had
Jeffrey Dahmer one. I was just like, whoa! But like, I'm a true crime junkie. I'm that person that watches that stuff.
Yeah. Like I own part of his apartment.
I'm fascinated. I'm that weirdo that's fascinated by serial killers. I'm sorry, people, but it's true. I'll watch like all the documentaries. But that was wild to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I own a part of his apartment plus some soil from the ground that he scattered his first victim out on.
Wild.
Wow.
Yeah. But to capture Jeffrey Dahmer to come through and say what was in his fridge, that's accurate. That's pure accurate. You can't 100%. Get more accurate than that. Because if you know Jeffrey Dahmer's story and history, then you know what the cops found in his fridge was a head.
Well, and if you also know about like all of the stuff in the paranormal and the devices that you use, like you don't get to just like pick a word out or like make it be that way. Like if something comes up that's relevant and that's serious, that's something to pay attention to.
That was across the spirit box.
Yes. Yeah. So his own voice came through.
Yeah, because we what did we ask? What did the cops find in his fridge? And then he said meat. And then we asked what kind of meat, because we followed that up. We were like, what kind of meat?
Head.
And you could hear the head.
The head. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was wild.
So what would be your 3 favorite items in your collection for each of you? What is your 3 favorite things? I know you have a lot, and that's a lot to pick from.
Right.
Before we get into that, I'm actually going to jump into John Wayne Casey. Two pieces of evidence that happened with him.
Oh yeah.
One, I said, was Pogo his alter ego? Yeah. He responded and said yes.
Right. I think you sent me that. Yeah.
Yeah, we were investigating the Moreau Museum, and the Moreau Museum kind of owns part of John Wayne Casey's sketches.
Oh yeah.
And we had the Necrophonic app on, and we were investigating, and I came out and asked, I said, John Wayne Casey, I said, what'd I say? Which one do you like he liked dressing up better, either Pogo or Patches? My wife will verify this. That thing went dead for 5 seconds, silent. And you hear a voice come across and goes, Pogo.
Wow.
Creepy.
Yeah. And it's crazy because, like I said, I own part of 2 pieces of the wood of the house that got torn down. But 3 pieces, I would have to say that Becca asked. I would have to say, for me, Maggie can answer after me, but for me, I would have to say Helen would be one. I would say the high chair, because I had the high chair. Actually, the demonic entity attached to that actually acknowledged me holding a spray bottle of holy water by lighting up a device on it. And my third one, I would have to say, I probably would have to say maybe Ed Gein stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Demon House. I don't know if you guys seen that. I actually it verified that it messed with Zach's eyes.
See, I was just like, is that fake?
It verified it. I asked, I said, the negative energy that's attached to the Demon House, and you can go back and watch this video on our TikTok. I said, did you mess with Zach Bagans' eyes? And you could hear a dark voice come across the spirit box and say, yes, I did.
Wow.
Because he had to get those like big goggle glasses eventually, kind of thing.
And I think posted on Twitter and tagged him in it. So I'm surprised.
And that documentary just creeped me out.
I'm surprised he didn't retweet and say, to all the freaking doubters, here it is.
Well, the thing that got me with that was, I forget who he was with, but the guy had to end up going to the hospital and something was affecting all his internal organs.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like completely like a full bill of health before that. That I'm like, okay.
Like one of the investigators for the case or the priest or something like that.
No, it was a home inspector.
That's right. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
He had nothing to do with the paranormal.
It was like the tall guy that was like running around with him in the basement, like showing him all of the things he inspected. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Because even like the children's services that came out there, they ended up having issues too.
The police had issues too.
Yeah, I mean, the child service people said they witnessed one of the kids walking up backwards on the wall.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how the heck to react to that.
Right. What about you, Maggie? Like, would you consider some of those items your favorite too, or do you have like a different collection of favorite items?
Like the wheelchair.
Oh, okay.
And then Billy and Corinne. And so I guess that's 3. They're just Billy and Corinne are fun. They're just fun.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know a little bit more about the good dolls that you have, like amongst all of those things that like maybe more sinister things are attached to. Are they there to kind of like balance out that energy? Like you said, there's more like good things than negative things, or like what's their purpose?
They were, because when we first started collecting, we didn't really know like how to deal with the demonic, so we just collected positive stuff, and they're just the ones that we like, so we keep them.
Yeah. We are actually pretty soon. I mean, we're actually selling off some of our positive dolls to make room for more active stuff. Because when we investigate, when we investigate, and we do investigate our collection live on TikTok, because there are people who follow us and YouTube, but there are people who follow us and love our investigations, because we're not like some of these TikTok influencers out there screaming and yelling demon and all that. I'm just saying, but we keep the evidence legit, legit. You're seeing it live. If we don't experience it, then they're not experiencing it. And that's the truth. But, we've captured so much evidence. I mean, we had a female scream bloody freaking murder that we didn't know where that came from. Remember when that girl
was it in here?
Yeah, it was in here over the spirit box. You can hear it. I was talking to you, and the next thing you know, you hear this blood curdle scream.
It had something to do with
we don't know what it was. We don't know if it was dealing with like one of the true crime items, and it was a victim. Like, we don't know, but you could hear this blood curdle scream from a female just screaming like she is like being attacked.
Wow.
We don't know if that was a residual energy type thing or an intelligent thing, and I'm just saying the evidence that we captured, it's insane. Capture Bonnie and Clyde, to capture Jeffrey Dahmer, to capture John Wayne Casey, to capture Ed Gein. Just him saying his name was freaking nuts when we were investigating where I like, we had this male voice coming across communicating with us, and I said to Maggie, I said, I'm going to see if this is Ed Gein. And I was like, Ed, if this is you, say my name. And instead of saying my name, he said his clear as day.
Wow.
He was like, Ed. I was like, well, there it is. I mean, it's again, he said his name. What else? Oh, I've had Helen validate that she was in her Dow one time over the necrophonic. I said, Helen, are you in your Dow? You can hear female voice. Yes.
Didn't you also have that on the SLS too?
I've confirmed her on SLS, like hovering over the case.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So since you guys use so much equipment, a wide variety and apps as well, what would be your favorite equipment to investigate with, and what is the most evidence you've gotten from a piece of equipment?
Is spirit box.
Or like, is there like one haunted object that like really just like comes through the most on a certain device? Like, do you have any luck on one over the other?
Not really. It's hit or miss.
It always varies.
Yeah.
Yep.
It always varies.
It varies day to day, time to time, full moon, no full moon.
Oh, tonight's a full moon, people.
Right, I was gonna say, I don't know what you're doing with this buck moon tonight.
Light up
but
those
it's about to come
capitals.
Capricorn, so get on with your stuff.
But it varies day to day. There will be some days we're investigating, we get voices completely alive, and there's sometimes where we'll come down here and we'll get maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5 hits on the spirit box.
Yeah, and sometimes like we'll start with one like the spirit box, and we're getting nothing. So we switch to the necrophonic, and like we get lots.
Yeah, sometimes we'll get
There's
more
no
on the
rhyme or
necrophonic.
reason,
Yeah,
nothing. It's totally random.
Yeah.
True, like ghost hunting fashion, right? Like you could come into a space that you know has a lot of like spirit attached to it or a lot of activity, and you could come in and get nothing one day and so much the next, or like even minute to minute. And you guys have you have so many haunted artifacts in your collection. 2, you do have your own production company. You investigate different locations. So like, what are your plans moving forward with all of your endeavors?
Well, we're working on trying to open a haunted museum here in Toledo. That's one thing we're trying to do. Second, I'm trying to work on another documentary in like maybe in a couple of years. I'm actually working on maybe doing a paranormal documentary on Bonnie and Clyde. I'm thinking about chasing down so basically, me and Maggie would be
locations.
Chase down their locations that pertain to them, but we would be in our Purple Gang documentary, we dressed up like gangsters trying to track down the Purple Gang, you know. So, but in this one, we would dress up like cops trying to track down Bonnie and Clyde. So we would, it would start out with us, sit at a table. She, either I or her would bring a file to one another. We would sit there and, start a manhunt.
Recreating that energy during that time.
Yeah. And we would basically, I would reach out to locations to figure out, where Bonnie and Clyde was, reach out to those locations, try to work out a deal with them, let us come in and investigate, stuff like that, and see what we can pull through.
A lot of endeavors for you guys coming up. It sounds like you're always doing something.
Yeah.
We're always doing something, and and we're always live on TikTok or YouTube when we can, investigating our collection live. We've done the NC method live, and there's actually a 2-part video that's on our TikTok where she was under, and I heard our door to the room literally get messed with, and it was crazy because it was like right next to me, and I was like, I turned the camera pan to the door, and I was like, that door got messed with. And then I panned the camera back to Maggie, and I think I asked a question about Helen, I'm like, Helen, you know, and I asked a question. I'm like, Helen, are you here? And then you hear Maggie come across and goes, yes. I was like, well, okay,
Mhm.
Helen's here, you know. We have,
Validating.
yeah, we have investigated our negative items. We pulled them out of the cases and stuff and have lined them up and have investigated them live. And we have captured some good evidence. I mean, you and I felt like vertical feeling. I've had my shirt pulled. I had my left side of my head like in a migraine type pain. I've captured Helen light up a K2 meter and boom, right on SLS. She's manifesting right there in front of her now. Trying to think
I mean,
of
you
what
guys
else.
have had so much evidence, not just like, you know, intuitive type feelings, but physically, and then through all of these devices too. And you know, we know that you're bound to experience more, and we know that we're excited to see whatever else that you do end up catching. And we're just so thankful that you were able to share the pieces that you were today. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Been a crazy ride with these things.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure.
fascinating. And we just want to thank you so much for spending time with us today on this full moon Sunday, everyone.
Yes.
So up next week, Bree and I are back. We're giving you an inside scoop on our human design type and our astrological signs. If you've ever wanted to know more about the blueprint of your life, we look to the stars and the planets for some guidance. So join us next time on Spooky Happy Hour. But for now, we will say cheers with a close,
Cheers, guys.
everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.